Okay, I need you to get everything you think you saw at that teaser trailer. Everyone, and I mean everyone, watched that clip from the Game Awards in 2020 and immediately went, oh, that's Earth. Liara's on Earth, looking for Shepard's helmet in the snow. And sure, that makes sense on the surface. Snow, N7 helmet, Liara looking emotional, must be Earth, right? But here's the thing. BioWare isn't that obvious. And if you really look at the evidence, the actual lore evidence, not just the copium we're all huffing about Shepard coming back, there's a way darker possibility. What if that frozen wasteland isn't Earth at all? What if Liara isn't searching for Shepard's body, but for something that's been sleeping under the ice for millions of years? I know. Leviathans? Really? The thing from the Underwater DLC that everyone played? Yeah, those guys. But stick with me here, because Mass Effect 5, or whatever they're calling it, has been teasing weird stuff for years now, and we all are too busy arguing about whether Shepard's eyes are the right shade of blue to notice. Quick refresher for the normies who didn't spend 600 hours reading codex entries, the Leviathans are the original apex species, like the first civilization. They created the intelligence and what we call the catalyst to solve the problem of synthetic uprising. The intelligence decided the best way to preserve organic life was to harvest it and turn it into reapers. Classic AI logic. But the Leviathans didn't die. They hid, buried themselves in ocean trenches across the galaxy, using their mind control and informant powers to erase themselves from history. By the time Mass Effect 3 rolls around, they're basically a myth, a ghost story. And after the Reapers are destroyed, or controlled, or synthesized, whatever you picked, these ancient horrors are still down there, waiting. Now look at that teaser again. The landscape, the snow, the ice. Everyone assumes it's the Normandy crash site from the Destroy ending, or maybe the Arctic somewhere. But look at the sky, that pale washed out grey, no sun visible, and Liara. She's not wearing heavy cold weather gear because she's a goddamn Asari commando, sure, but also because she wasn't planning on staying long. She's on a hit and grab recovery mission. But here's where it gets weird. Fans keep pointing to 2819 because BioWare's N7 teasers use the access code string Oculon 2819 Defiance. That doesn't confirm the setting, but it does feel like BioWare waving a flashlight at a specific error. And if it's anywhere near that time frame, we're talking centuries after Mass Effect 3. Not a few decades later. That's enough time for civilizations to rise and fall, enough time for the galaxy to rebuild, and enough time for things that were hiding to realize the galaxy's biggest predator just vanished. Think about it. The Reapers weren't keeping the Leviathans in check, out of kindness, but the Reapers did know they existed. And the Leviathans were forced into hiding because the Reapers nearly wiped them out. If the Reaper threat is gone now, that's one less reason for the Leviathans to stay buried in their ocean trenches. By the way, you say typing furiously in the comments before watching the rest of the video. The concept art shows Krogan civil wars and political stuff. This is going to be about the Genophage and the galactic politics. Yeah, I saw it too, the Mudskipper stuff, Angara hints, Krogan in heavy armor looking like they're about to throw down, but here's the important part. A lot of this wasn't some 2025 leak. Fans were pulling images from BioWare's own N7-day trail teaser pages and hidden art drops, which means it's real but also means it's carefully chosen to show you just enough. And concept art doesn't always lie, it just tells the truth in a way that makes you look left while the real story goes right. What if that civil war isn't about the Genophage? What if it's about whether the galaxy should bow to the returned gods or fight them? The Krogan are warriors. The Turians are disciplined. The Asari are, well, Liara is the Shadow Broken now, or was, depending on how BioWare frames it. Point is, she knows things. She knows what woke up. And that N7 helmet she's holding, maybe it's Shepard's, maybe it isn't. But what if it's not a sentimental relic at all? What if it's a warning? A breadcrumb from a recon team that didn't come back because they found something older than the Protheans buried in the permafrost? Let's also talk about the N7-day 2023 tease Oculon 2819 Defiance. Everybody looked on the year and the word Defiance. Fair. But Oculon is the part that feels loaded. It reads like an access code label, sure, but it also screams ocular, watching, and seeing. And what's one of the creepiest things about Leviathans? They don't just kill you, they influence you, they work through you. You become the weapon and don't even realize it until you're standing there like, why am I staring at the ocean for 3 hours? Then there's that other message people keep quoting. Although they should know by now not to underestimate human redacted, everyone tries to fill the blank with defiance or spirit or whatever. But what if it's something nastier, like resistance, like will, like stubbornness. The one human superpower, refusing to sit down when the universe tells you to kneel. What if something tried to reassert control over the rebuilt galaxy and underestimated humans' ability to go, yeah, nah. See, the Reapers were terrifying, but they were machines. They had rules, they were logic taken to a horrifying extreme. The Leviathans, they're organic, they're ancient, they're proud. They're basically the galaxy's original ruling class who view every other species as cattle that accidentally figured out how to use the microwave. And unlike the Reapers who weren't really interested in ruling you day to day, the Leviathans do want dominion. They want worship. They want the galaxy back under their thumb. Also, a quick reality check, whether the intelligence is gone depends on what ending BioWare canonizes, if they canonize one at all. But either way, if the Reapers aren't the dominant force anymore, the galaxy just lost one giant terrifying constant everyone had learned to fear. And power vacuums don't stay empty. And Mike Gamble, who's been teasing fans for years, has basically been in I want you to see more, but it's not time yet mode. Which doesn't exactly scream, this is a simple Shepard cameo mystery. It screams, we've got bigger story cards we're not showing you. And Liara, poor Liara. If we're anywhere near that tease era, she's old. Not a sorry old, but old enough to live through the Reaper War as history, not legend. She's one of the only people left who remembers Shepard as a person, not a myth. And she's also one of the few who knows the Leviathans were real. She helped uncover the whole nightmare in Mass Effect 3. She knows what they can do. So when colonies start going dark, when people start reporting entire cities just staring at the ocean, she's the one who grabs an N7 helmet, maybe Shepard's, maybe not, maybe symbolic of the old guard, and goes to that ice world not just to mourn the past, to confirm the worst possibility, that the old gods are waking up. Is that Shepard's helmet? Maybe. Maybe Shepard went there first. Maybe that's the hook, finding out what happened to Shepard through the Leviathan's mystery, instead of some cheap surprise, he's alive cutscene. Look, I could totally be wrong. It could actually be Earth. It could be a flashback. It could be a metaphor. BioWare could be playing us all for fools and the game is actually about farming sim mechanics on the Citadel. I don't know. I'm just a guy who's read the Leviathan Codex entry too many times and owns a tinfoil hat in N7 colors. But think about it narratively. The Reapers were the threat we knew. The Leviathans are the threat we forgot. After 3 games of synthetics versus organics, going back to the ancient Lovecraftian squid gods who think they deserve the galaxy is a fresh direction. It's personal. It's creepy in a different way. Indoctrination was scary because it was subtle. Now imagine a threat where you don't even know you're being controlled until you wake up worshipping a giant cuttlefish. Anyway, that's my theory. The snow isn't necessarily Earth, it could be the Leviathan's doorstep, and Mass Effect 5 might not be about finding Shepard, it might be about surviving the things that were here before the Reapers. Let me know in the comments how wrong you think I am, or if you spotted something I missed. Like and subscribe if you want more Mass Effect lore deep dives, and may the Force be with you. Wait, wrong franchise. Shepard's alive, probably not, but maybe.